It's from the part is Chaim Sada Tafkin Lamed Beis. It refers to the Medrash. Is of a Medrash is brought down the Medrash. Amar Abacha said, Yafis Chasim shall Avde Avis or Avde Bate Avis. He says over there are two versions in this Medrash. Either it's more beautiful, the talk of the servants of the house of the forefathers, or the servants of the forefathers, mitayras and shalbanim. Then the Torah of the children and the Torah of what was given to the Yidden, the different aspects of Torah, the halachas and Torah, as we'll soon explain some examples of this. The story with Eliezer, both with how he went about to find Rivka. Then afterwards, once he found her and he tested her, and then he came to Lavan and Bezul's house, and then he told him all about the test that he did. So all of this that he related to the Lavan and Bezul was really a repetition of what he said earlier. And the Torah devotes so much space, 2 or 3 pages worth, for the story of Eliezer with Rivka. Many of the bodies of the Torah, bodies is halacha. The halacha of the Torah is called bodies. In the continuation of the words of the Medrash in the pasuk. It says that when he came into the house of Besuel, Lavan, it said that they were given water to wash his feet, Eliezer's feet, and also to wash the feet of the people that accompanied Eliezer. And then Rab Acha says a similar thing to what he just now said. Am Rab Acha, it is more beautiful, more special, the washing of the feet of the servants of the household of the forefathers than the Torah of the children. That even when it comes to washing their feet, the Torah found it necessary to speak about it, how they washed their feet when they entered Lavan's house, entered Besuel's house. But the halacha of tumas shiratzim, the different types of 8 shiratzim, certain types of animals that are mitame, ein chulu, and we only know about the flesh of a sheretz making a person tameh. We don't know about the blood. The blood we know, elam meribui hamikra. We only know from the fact that it says extra words in the pasuk. So he's contrasting and showing how some seemingly minor details in Eliezer's story, the Torah felt the need to record, and something that's an outright halacha about the blood of a sheretz making a person tameh, that the Torah didn't even find them, that he should explicitly say it, but just hinted it by extra words. It's known the analysis, the question about this, but there is time about the Torah. In the Maamar of the Middle Rebbe and the Samach Tzedek and the Rabbeim following it. So we need to understand what is the reason for this? That it's more beautiful, more special, the talk of the servants of the forefathers than the Torah of the children. Maybe the Medrash only brings a proof for this. But the Parsha of Eliezer takes up 2 and 3 columns or pages. So that's all the Medrash does. The Medrash brings a proof that it is so. But the Medrash doesn't really explain why. The idea of Torah is that everything has to be in a manner of explanation, in a manner of understanding. Therefore, the Rebbe says, fine, you proved me a fact. This is a fact that we see that there's more time spent with Eliezer than the halachas of the Torah, the gufi Torah, the bodies of the Torah. But you don't explain the reason why that is. What is the reason? The understanding and explanation for this, that it's more beautiful to talk of the children of the talk of the servants of this than the Torah of the children. Also, when you understand when it comes to washing, when he says the next piece, washing the feet of the servants of the forefathers, the proof is that it's more special, it's more beautiful than the Torah of the children, is only derived from the fact that it was explicitly written, as opposed to how beautiful the talk of the children are. I'm sorry, concerning the talk of Eliezer by Chacham is that the proof from this is that the parsha of Eliezer is 2 and 3 columns. In other words, one is just from the recording of the event. The first thing is, the first thing, which is the repetition, the lengthy explanation. So why is one only about the recording of a certain minor event? And another thing is from the fact that it just spreads over so long that it was repeated and so on. This will be understood by first prefacing the expression that it's more beautiful their speech. Sicha, specifically the term that's used is sicha. The lechura in the movement seemingly it's not understood. Why do we not use an expression of more common words used in the Torah? Like dibur means speaking, or amira means saying. That is a more common expression written, used in the written Torah. Like in this parsha itself, in this story itself with Eliezer, it's mentioned many times. It says, Vayomer, he said, Vayidaber, and he spoke. So the Medrash should have chosen the same expression. Yafa diburon shall avdi avis, or Yafa amirason shall avdi avis. Why does he use an unusual expression that's not commonly used in the Torah? Yafa sichason shall avdi avis. So the Rebbe is going to say that the very choice of words is the core answer to the initial question that we asked before about why is it more special. But the idea behind this is with the exact expression that it says there, from this itself is already explained the reason why it's better than the Torah of the children. The Rebbe says in the parenthesis, like we find many times, through the change in language in the oral Torah, it's explained the reason of something that's said in the written Torah that doesn't have an explanation. In other words, just from a language change, we could determine something that ordinarily we wouldn't be able to determine in Torah Shebiksav. In a similar vein, by using the words over here of Yafa Sichasam instead of Diburon or Amirasam, with this we get an insight into why it's actually better. In the movement, seemingly it's not understood. How is it possible to say that the Sikha of the servants of the forefathers is better and more beautiful than the Torah of the children. Torah is even higher than mitzvahs. Like it says, Kol chafotzim lo yishvu. The pasuk says in Mishlei, no objects, no items, no desirable things can equal the Torah. And the Chazal say, since it says chafotzim, it doesn't say chafotzecha, the way it says in the different times, it says chafotzim. So that means not only your things, not only your work or your jobs and so on, but vafilu cheftzei shamayim, even objects that belong to heaven. Meaning that even mitzvahs are not equal to Torah. If so we should be doing only mitzvahs all the time. That's what we should be doing only. We should be learning only Torah, not mitzvahs. Only a mitzvah that cannot be done through others do we stop learning Torah. And again, of course, there's differences between a person that Torah is their profession and Torah is not the profession. If Torah is not the profession, they're anyway stopping for other things. So you stop for mitzvahs. That's one thing that we see, how powerful Torah is. Next thing he says on the top of the next page, how much, and especially the Torah of the children. We know the Torah of the children is higher even in Torah itself. It's higher than the Torah of the forefathers. Because the Torah of the forefathers are only considered like a cent in comparison to the Torah of the children. The Torah of the children is the Torah that was given by the giving of the Torah. And we know that what the Yidden have, the sons, the children of the Avos have, they have what's called Shemen Turak Shemecha. They have like the oil itself, whereas what the Avos had is only the scent that comes from the oil, which means it's insignificant and insubstantial in comparison to our Torah. Another point is, not only is the Torah of the Avos insignificant to the Torah of the children, so we're talking specifically about Torah. We're not just talking about the wisdom of the children. The Torah is also the wisdom and the will of the Eibishter. So therefore, already in the Chachma aspect, Torah is very, very high because it has the level of Hashem's Chachma. But rather, the point of here is that it's his Torah. It's higher than the idea of Chachma. Maamar is all understood what the Chazal say. If a person tells you that there is wisdom amongst the nations, you could believe. But if you'll say that there's a Torah amongst the nations, that do not believe. So in other words, as high as Chachma is, but there is something similar to that, some corresponding level to Chachma. Of course, it's not the Chachma of Chachmas or Ritzaynus, but there's some corresponding level to Chachma by the Goyim. Here we're talking about Torah. And Torah is completely something that's not to be found in it. So im kain eich after loymar shesichasen shall avdi avos yafe gam terasen shall bonim. How is it possible to say that the sicha of the servants of the forefathers is more beautiful and greater than the Torah of the children? To sum up, he said there are three aspects that make it the question difficult. We know, as great as mitzvahs are, they're not as powerful as Torah is. In addition to that, Torah of the children is much greater than the Torah of the forefathers. And here we're talking about the Sikha of the servants of the forefathers. And specifically Torah and not the Chacham. So you have Torah, the children, not mitzvahs, not Chachma. And all of this You're telling me that Yafa Sichasan shall Avdei Avis. It's not of the Bonim after Matan Torah. It's not the mile of Chachma or Torah. It's only Sicha. How can only Sicha be? What's the logic behind it that only Sicha can be greater and more beautiful than the Torah and of the Bonim? The Rebbe explains middle of the first paragraph on top of in the second page. The idea behind this is the emphasis over here is that it's more beautiful their speech. Sicha daike, specifically the term used over here is sicha, as we mentioned before, that by using the word sicha, sicha gives us a clue to answer this question. Move on Midrash Maamar is opposite heading, like it's brought down the above mentioned Maamar that we said in the Torah Chaim and Torah and so on. But it says in Gemara Sanhedrin, al pasuk, Adam la'amal yulad, a person was born to toil. Dying, the Gemara says, I still do not know, im la'amal sicha, im la'amal Torah. Was he born to toil in matters of sicha, or was he born to toil in a toil of Torah? Then the Gemara brings a proof that it's talking about amal Torah. So the Rebbe says it's obvious that when the Gemara says, I do not know whether he was meant to toil in a matter of sicha or a matter of Torah, obviously she'ena kavana ba'amal sicha born b'teil. He doesn't mean over here unnecessary words, wasted words, just talking worldly matters. The gam loyal dvar mamatarim. Dvar b'teilim is a lot of times prohibited. Because dvar b'teilim means you're wasting your time, you should be learning Torah. But it's also not even referring that it's for permitted things. You need to go to work and you need to speak. You need to talk with people for whatever reason. Even that type of talk is not in any way intended over here when it says, I do not know whether it's la'amal sicha or la'amal Torah. It's not possible to say that the Gemara would consider and think, what it means that a person was born for toil. He was born for toil for permitted speech, for speaking with his friends, for speaking at work. Over Torah, what's the logic? Rather, what must we say that the Gemara is talking about? The intention over here is the sicha shel mitzvah shechayavim ba. The intention over here is a sicha of a mitzvah that one is obligated. What type of talk of a mitzvah is a person obligated in? It says, "Shezo inyan hatfilah, shenikras gam b'shem sicha." Davening is also called sicha. That Yitzchak went out to be to lasuach basad, and the Chazal say, what does lasuach mean? Lasuach means to daven. He was going out to daven mincha. That's also the idea that it's more beautiful, the sicha of the servants of the forefathers, than the Torah of the children. That their talk is referring to the idea of davening. Yet there's an advantage in the davening over the idea of Torah study, despite the fact that we know that Torah is higher than mitzvahs, and despite the fact that it says Adam la'amal yulad la'amal Torah, not to the amal sicha of davening. So even though a person was meant to toil in learning, that's why he was born. Over the toil in davening. That's the sicha versus Torah that the Gemara is talking about. Still in all, yafas sichas and shalav the others means that there is this advantage and this quality and this greatness to be found in davening over learning. So now the Rebbe is going to explain how that is. The idea behind this is the alpha bishop fill in the kras chaya shop. The Torah chaya olam, though tefillah is called temporary life. And Torah is called everlasting life. There's an expression in the Gemara, why are you leaving behind the temporary, the everlasting life of Torah versus the temporary life of Tefillah? The simple sense is davening is meant to ask for our needs, and needs are only a temporary thing, whereas Torah learning is something that is everlasting. But in addition to the fact that not only is it called temporary in comparison to Torah learning, but also Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. We know the study of Torah is equivalent to all mitzvahs. Still in all yesh ma'ila b'tefillah l'gabe Torah. There's still an advantage in davening over Torah. Yesh koina elamai. That is a person that acquires his world, chai olam, the temporary world. He acquires it, which is chai olam. I'm sorry, the life of this world, which is not temporary, which is everlasting. The chai yeshua, the tefillah, in the everlasting, in the temporary life of davening. In other words, like this. The Rebbe is making an interesting play on a Maamar Chazal. It says, Yesh koina elamai b'shah achas. It says that a person can acquire his world in 1 hour. And he applies it like this. Torah learning is called chaye olam. That is the koina elamai. Tefillah is called chaye shah. So the truth is, as high as we want to say that Torah learning is over davening, but how are you koina olam? How do you acquire that everlasting matter? How do you reach that level? You only reach that level because and through the shah achas, through the level of davening. So Torah, yes, is high and greater, and that's the purpose which the person was created. And the Gemara says over there that it's all that tefillah is only chai and shah. So though Torah is very high, but the entrance and to reach that level of Torah is only through davening. That's going to be the theme of what he's going to speak over here in the next throughout the mind. He says after parentheses, only through davening can a person reach the ultimate state of bittul. Because davening is a ladder standing on the ground, and its top is reaching the heavens. The beginning is from praising Hashem. And when we have Haidu is also related to the word Haidah, admitting, like Moida. I admit to something. That means I'm admitting, I'm accepting someone else's view and opinion. The same thing, Haidu Hashem is not just praise, but also means admitting it's just the basic state of bittul that I have no comprehension in it. Here is bonus base at Filachulu, and afterwards is the meditation during davening. Until he comes to Shemoneh Esrei. During the weekday, it's actually 18 brachas, and during Shabbos, the Rebbe's calling it Amida because there's no 18 brachas, so the word Shemoneh Esrei doesn't apply. That Amida means you're standing. Why are you standing by Shemoneh Esrei? Because it expresses the bittul of a servant before his master. The ultimate idea of the bittul is this concept of having this Mesiras Nefesh, the self-sacrifice. So all of this is necessary before Torah. You need to work your way up till the level where you have the bittul of Shemoneh Esrei. That's why also it says the sicha, which we said is talking about davening of avdei avos. Avdei means the servants. The avodas also with bittul, the avoid of a servant is in a way of accepting the yoke of his master and nullifying himself. Until a way of total bittul. ba'ofen in such a manner, shemasha kana eved kana rabbi, that we say that an eved is the ultimate expression of bittul, that whatever a servant acquires, his master automatically acquires because he is completely nullified. He's just an extension of his master. Kapsak din b'Torah Sem, top of the third page, like the ruling in the Torah of truth. Why is that so? Why is Torah rule that way? Because the servant is not an independent being for himself. His entire being is the mitzias of the master. So sicha, which is davening, is about bittul. Eved expresses bittul. Now he's going to say avis also express bittul. And this itself, the exact language is used, the talk of the servants of the forefathers. The Chazal say that the Avis were the divine chariot. The Alter Rebbe explains what does it mean a chariot. Just like a chariot, a vehicle is completely bottled to its rider. The same thing, the Avis, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yankov, were completely nullified. That all their limbs and organs were completely devoted entirely, all their days, 24/7, to the service of Hashem. So it's a threefold bittul. It's sicha, davening is a matter of bittul, avodim is a matter of bittul, avis is a matter of bittul. Therefore, the sicha of the servants of the forefathers. It's an idea of the service of davening in accepting the yoke of heaven, and bittul in a way of being a divine chariot. Yafim b'tiras and shalbanim is more beautiful than the Torah of the children, and that's necessary, as we'll soon explain, as a prerequisite, as an introduction, as a preface to the Torah of the children. Okay, we'll stop over here. Any questions?